Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Celine LeClaire and I am your host on Thursdays. I'm a licensed esthetician and a certified acne expert. And every Thursday we get together and we talk about a different topic that pertains to acne. And today's is really fun. This one is very personal for me. This is my routine that I have trialed and errored this routine so many times over the year, and I've really narrowed it down to what works really well for when you have a big painful pimple that pops up and you want it to get it to go away fast. This is like if I have something that I need to be at the next day, I really want to accelerate the solving of this problem that is this big pimple that I have. If you are someone who is experiencing a lot of breakouts all over, you can do this routine once a week regularly to really diminish those breakouts, bring it down. If you are on a face reality acne routine, this also fits right in. You would just do this before in your nighttime routine. And at the end of the video, I can give some clarification on how you can add this little pimple busting routine into your face reality routine. So let's just jump in. I grabbed everything I wanted here in front of me and we're just gonna take it from the top. So I've already cleansed my face. I chose to cleanse my face with something that leaves it a little bit more squeaky clean. I used the Lemieux exfoliating cleansing gel, but really any cleanser that you have at home that gives a bit more of a full clean feeling. So for example, you wouldn't want to use like a cream or just an oil cleanser before this routine. You want to use something with some suds that can really get your face very clean so that these products can do their best work. So step one in this routine after you've cleansed is we're gonna go in and we're gonna tone with something that is naturally antibacterial. So you can use a mandelic toner, you can use a salicylic toner. If you have more sensitive dry skin, you could use something with some lactic acid in it. Those are all antibacterial, antiseptic ingredients that are going to help prep our skin for this routine. So I'm gonna take my Silk & Wipes toner pads. I almost used up my bag. And I'm going to just put 2 pumps of my Mandelic Purifying Tonic. This is my favorite toner for when I have breakouts. And then I'm just gonna treat this area where I get breakouts. I'm not breaking out too bad this week, but last week, which is the week before my cycle, I was getting really angry hormonal breakouts. It seemed like every day I had a new one that popped up. It was really frustrating. So we're just gonna treat this area. This is just removing any leftover possible bacteria, any dead skin cells. We're just removing those off so that the treatment can do its thing. So there we go. Allow that to dry for a second. And then we're gonna go in with a clay mask. So specifically I go in with clay because clay is like a magical ingredient. Clay is antibacterial, antifungal, but it's also anti-inflammatory, and it also absorbs excess sebum and oil in the pores. So by pulling all of those things out of the pore, we're gonna help accelerate healing, and we're going to pull out those toxins, any pus, any bacteria that is thriving there on that breakout. We're going to remove it all. It also helps dry out the area. So it's actually helping to dry out that pimple, dry out that breakout so that it can heal faster or come to the surface faster. Oftentimes if you can just feel it's under the skin, but it hasn't come to a whitehead yet, that is a great time to slap a clay mask on that breakout. So I have 2 clay mask options for you. If you have oily, normal, non-sensitive skin, then you can use Perfection Clay from Rhonda Allison. This is a very, very potent mask, so don't slather this all over. This is not an all-over mask. I highly recommend just using it for spot treating areas that have breakouts. So this is packed with salicylic acid and clay. So it is very potent. It's gonna feel a little stingly, but it works so, so well on breakouts. And then I also have, for my more sensitive skin folks, or more dry skin folks, I have the Soothing Clay Mask from Face Reality. This mask from Face Reality does not have acids in it, so it's a little more gentle, and it also has a water and glycerin base, which provides hydration to the skin, and it keeps the mask from drying down all hard and fully onto the skin, so it's not going to overly dry you if your skin is already dry and flaky and uncomfortable. This is a great option. This can also just be applied all over the face as a clay mask, and it's not gonna dry you out or oversensitize the skin. Whereas this Perfection Clay, this is the big guns. This one, use with caution, but this is the one that I like to use. So I'm just gonna apply a tiny little bit. I actually like to use a Q-tip for this. So I'm going to take a little bit of this mask, this gray clay, and it smells like clay. And then I'm just going to get it right on the spot that I want to treat. And you don't need a crazy amount, just enough to coat that spot. And I have a couple little spots here. So I'm going to put a layer across that. One right here. And some over there. Okay. When this one is active, you're gonna feel maybe a little bit of stingly. If you were to put this all over your face, it would be hot. It would be very spicy. So I don't recommend doing that unless you're looking to give yourself like a good exfoliating treatment. You can do that, but I would only do it if you have done some spot treatments first and you haven't felt like it was very spicy. And I would avoid any sensitive areas of the face. So like, don't put this mask in these nasolabial folds here and here. Those are your dry sensitive spots. Some people like to sleep at night with a clay mask on their face. And you can do that, but not with a clay mask that is very, very active and that dries down hard. So for example, soothing clay mask, this one does not dry out or dry down on the skin super hard and crispy. It still has some moisture in it. So you could potentially sleep with a dab of this on a pimple, a very light layer. This one, don't do it. This is very active. The clays really dry down hard on the skin, and you could potentially cause more irritation to your skin. You could cause like a little bit of a welt because this is strong. This is meant to be rinsed off. I don't recommend leaving it on the skin. So for video purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this with my clean skin wipe. Usually I would keep this on for a little bit longer, but I didn't want to leave you guys waiting. So if I was in a bathroom with a sink, I would just take a dry clean skin towel, get it wet, and gently remove this. But because we don't have a sink, I'm just gonna use the clean skin wipe, the wet wipe version. And we just gently remove that off the skin. And for the next step, I also have two options for you guys. So at this point, if you feel like the pimple has come up to a head, it looks like it can easily be extracted, you can gently attempt to do so. The thing with big angry pimples is if they're not ready to be popped or they're giving you any resistance, don't do it, because that is how you end up with a scar or a mark, because really creating that wound is going to send more blood, and more blood means you're going to have more of that red mark the next day. So what you can do is if it looks like it's really ready to go, it's not going to cause you any issues, you can gently go in with 2 clean Q-tips and you can just gently come up from underneath and wiggle and see if you can get an extraction. But don't be pressing too hard. You can try different angles, but remember, you're going to come from kind of scooping from underneath motion just to see if you can get it out. The problems with picking is if you kind of come from underneath and if it pops underneath where you can't see, that's going to spread bacteria and you're going to end up with more pimples popping up all around that same spot, and we really don't want that. So only extract it if it comes out really easily. If it does not come out easily, your next step in this routine is a pimple patch. We have these Dermadots on our website, but you can get pimple patches at a lot of different places. These are your best friend if you regularly have whiteheads. This is what's gonna keep you from picking at it. It's gonna protect you when you're at school and you happen to be just touching your face, or at work. This is gonna protect that area. Pimple patches are a great, great thing, but you wanna prep the skin correctly. So once I have done that clay mask and everything, I want to clean that area again so that the pimple patch has nothing underneath it. It can really do its work. So I'm going to take another toner pad, or I've also done this with a Q-tip, and get more of that astringent toner, a toner that is more on the astringent side, and you're gonna cleanse the spot that you're gonna put the pimple patch. Make sure it is really clean. If it's the morning and you've just done a full face of makeup and everything, but you still wanna wear a pimple patch, you'll take a Q-tip, put a little bit of toner in the palm of your hand, dab the Q-tip in, and then just clean all the sunscreen and makeup off that pimple so that you can put a pimple patch on it. Then you want to make sure that you have really let it dry down, otherwise the pimple patch won't stick, or it'll be like bubbly and it'll won't be a seamless fit to the skin, it'll be more visible. So let your skin dry. Then get your pimple patch on. The pimple patch, the hydrocolloid in it is going to draw the pus out of the breakout and absorb it into the patch. If you've never used one of these before, it's truly amazing. When you go to pull it off, you can see all the pus that has been extracted right up into the patch. So let's throw one of these on here. What I like about these is it has a little perforation tab. I know it's really hard to show on camera, but when you're getting these dots off, you just rip the perforation, and then you've got a patch that is ready for you to grab. Let's see, make sure I'm pulling off the right side. Yes. And just grab it with your fingertip. Try not to touch too much of the inside. And then just lay it over the spot and hold for a few seconds to get the adhesive down. And boom. And it's really not that visible. I think pimple patches, when I see someone in public has a pimple patch, I'm like, good for you. You're treating your skin. I think it's a lot more accepted now than it was a few years ago to have a pimple patch chilling on your face. But there's that. So if you were doing this routine at night, you let this stay on all night, peel it off in the morning, and you won't have that whitehead anymore. It's amazing. So if your pimple is starting in the healing phase, the Dermadot's not going to do anything for you anymore except for provide a protective layer. What you're going to need to do is keep that area very moisturized and with healing ingredients. So one serum that I always have on hand if I'm breaking out a lot and I'm trying to boost healing is Neogenesis Skin Serum. And it is an amazing serum that really boosts healing. If you do have a scab or a small wound from the pimple that you've popped, get Skin Serum on that ASAP. A lower price item that has a very, very similar effect is Vital Repair Gel from Rhonda Allison. That one is also very, very healing and soothing. That one has licorice root extract, which is actually clinically proven to diminish PIE and PIH. So that is a really great serum as well to have on hand. But keep that area moisturized. If it's turned into a wound or a scab, don't put any more corrective ingredients on it. If it is like an open, bloody, scabby spot, just hit it with nourishing. No more drawing out ingredients, no more clay mask, just healing, soothing ingredients, and a nice acne-safe moisturizer to give that spot protection and barrier renewal so that it can heal itself. The skin is the best healer. You just have to give it the tools it needs to do that. Pimple patches don't replace skincare. I will say that. If you only treated your pimple only with the patches, you're not really going to be getting it to the hydration that your skin needs, the barrier protection that your skin needs, antioxidants and other great active ingredients that help heal a pimple. But it's really helpful as a protective measure to protect your skin, as well as helping to draw out that active pimple. So don't just constantly have these on your skin. You're going to keep your skin from being able to moisturize itself and do everything that it needs to do, but they are such a helpful tool to have in your arsenal. So my alternative choice though is if you were able to extract a whitehead, or if your pimple is like very, very, one of my edges is sticking up, I must have not let it dry all the way. So if you've been able to extract the whitehead, or you have just a lot of redness, irritation, it's very sensitive to the touch, you need a little bit more action on that breakout than the patch can provide. And that's when I recommend doing the sulfur spot treatment. So sulfur is very anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, but this also has nutrazin, which is a peptide that actually targets inflammation and redness. So this works so well to dry out the pimple, but also minimize the redness and inflammation that is going on with it. This is ideal if you want it to look less red and more calm for an event the next day, or it's just angry and you want to calm it down. So sulfur spot treatment, again, it's just, you just want to target the spot. So just a little bit, and then just massage it over the area. You would use this in place of your Acne Med to spot treat. So I get a lot of questions, why can't I just spot treat with my Acne Med? So Acne Med does treat active breakouts. It helps kill the bacteria and dry it out. But what Acne Med is really best for is preventative, because what it is doing is getting oxygen down into the pores so that the P. acne bacteria cannot flourish and cannot create a breakout. So you're killing that bacteria at the source. So Acne Med is amazing preventative, can also dry out an active pimple, but sulfur spot treatment is much more effective for treating those active pimples. So putting this on your active, big, angry pimples will really calm them down. You can even use this in the morning as well. Put a thin layer of this over your Hydro Balance, then follow with sunscreen, and it really helps to neutralize those pimples during the day and help calm them down. So those are my two options for you. If you have a whitehead that needs to get sucked out, do that pimple patch all night. And then if you have redness, kind of inflammation going on the pimple that you want to calm down, that's when you go with sulfur spot treatment. I know this routine is not very long, but it is super, super effective. It works so well, especially if you are able to tolerate Perfection Clay Mask. I know that I made it sound a little bit scary, but that's because it works super well and you just want to use it as a spot treatment. So with that, I will let you all go, and I hope to see you again on Thursday next week.